Hey class, Dr. Doug Brown here. Welcome to Sociology. It's our first day of the class. We will spend the next 15 weeks together learning sociology, all the different aspects. This week in our first day, we will really get started with the basics of sociology. So, let me give you some tips before we get started. First, I'm excited to have an opportunity to work with you, to be here with you. I want you to know I'm available to you all the time. You can reach out to me via email. I prefer that you email me using the AMC email whenever possible. Engage. You can send me a text or call me if you need me. Ask those questions. And consider posting those questions in the Ask the Instructor forum. I check that often. This first week I'll be checking the Getting Started forum every day throughout the day, checking my email as well as Ask the Instructor. I'd like for you to pose those questions there unless there's something private. And then of course you can reach out to me the other ways that I mentioned. Why? Ask the Instructor, that forum is a benefit to all the students. If you have a question, it's possible that your peers will have questions, the same questions, similar questions, and I can answer them all, and you can help your students there at the same time while I'm helping you. So just something to think about. So what do we need to do to get started? What I ask for you to do first, before you look at the material, before you ever open your textbook, if you've not already done that, is I want you to go look at the syllabus. Make sure that you keep the syllabus, read it closely, take a look at the requirements, the grading scale, your requirements in the discussions, the written assignments, etc. If you don't mind, I'd also encourage you, if you have somewhere you study, print that out, stick it in your book. I'm all about saving the trees, but it's important to have that syllabus printed out where you can look at it often while you're out and about. I need you to sort of refer to that as much as you get a chance. It's a good thing to do. Stick it in your textbook, etc. Then I'd like for you to take a look at the tips that I've shared throughout the class and my announcements, as well as in the discussions and the Getting Started forum. Take a look at those forum tips that I have shared. I encourage you now not to take shortcuts when it comes to your grammar, it comes to reading the material and sharing that information and your APA. Now, I know a lot of you, you're probably not really hip on, probably not really, not hip, but really comfortable, let's say, with APA. No worries. If you'll give 110%, I'm going to give you 200%, and I'm going to help you work through that and learn that as we go. But the most important thing that we're going to learn is the basics of sociology. All right, so just keep that in mind when we get started. Take a look at that syllabus, as I said. Look at that overview this week. Read those first steps that I've shared with you. Take a look at those examples that I've included with those tips, etc., to really help you. Now, I've given you some information there on what to use, what to avoid. For example, I don't want you to use Wikipedias. I don't want you to use Mother Jones. I don't want you to use dictionaries, encyclopedias, that sort of thing. The information that we need in the class, it must be peer-reviewed. And if you're not sure about that, use your textbook. I'd encourage you to use the Anna Maria Library because it is a very good resource. There's a lot of databases and links there for you to gather information, and it will tell you whether or not it's peer reviewed. So, we'll work through it. We'll work through that. If you're not sure and you can't find it, go ahead and share the citation. Right now, I'm happy with you just getting the basics down, the information and APA. We'll just work through the rest, and I'll give you good feedback. Now, I do like to give a lot of feedback on your discussions. I do like to give you feedback there. I do like to give you feedback on your written assignments. so that we can help you. And my goal is to share praise with you so that you know what you did well, and then give you those tips, information on those opportunities for improvement so that you know what you can improve on and how to do that in the future. You know, it's not really good for you as a student if you don't know what you did well, you don't know what you made a mistake on, and you're not sure how to improve on it. So I try to give you that. Extra questions. If it don't make any sense to you, if you didn't really understand my feedback, I want you to reach out to me and we'll discuss your paper assignment and I'll help you. Never feel bad about reaching out to me because that's what I'm here for. Don't think you're a pain. If you have to reach out to me 4 or 5 times a day, I don't care. Reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. And I really want to try to help you as much as possible. So what are some of the tips? Let me just give you some tips here real quick. The first steps, as I mentioned, read the syllabus, review the information I shared on the course wall, look at the discussion board rubric, print it. I will post a written assignment rubric before the first paper's due, and that's in the announcements. Review the instructions, getting started form, and share an introduction about yourself. We all should know who we're working with. We're going to be together the next 15 weeks. If you would, please acknowledge that you've read the syllabus, review the overview, read the chapter, and share your initial post. Okay. This week we don't reply to our peers, but we'll do that as we move forward. And then, of course, contact me with any questions or concerns that you may have. I'd encourage you to add my contact information in your phone, in your email, whatever, so that you can reach me whenever possible. This week, a lot of information. Again, it's just really basic stuff. It's a lot to read, but the two things we're really going to discuss is sociological imagination, which is something that, we sort of kind of do every day, sort of our perspective. And it's really the application of imaginative thought to the asking and answering of sociological questions. And again, as I mentioned in my post, we sort of do this every day. We do this in our own world, and we just don't always realize that we're doing that. Someone using sociological imagination takes himself away from the familiar routines of life. And what's all this mean? Well, again, it's we all have a different perspective on life, a different view of the world. This is often associated with our experiences or how we think that our world should be. And importantly, our worldview is most often associated with the people we are around. Our society, our culture, groups such as family and friends. Whenever we have problems, we might use sociological imagination to escape these problems, or what might be defined as what we call the routines of life. It's a way sort of to escape those. And after reading the book, page 5 of the textbook, share your thoughts on how you would define sociological imagination. Social structure. Now, we all have a social structure, and we don't really think about what we do in life as a structure sometimes, but we have some structure, even if it's loose. We do have some social structure. And really, in order for us to really fully understand sociological imagination, we also need to understand what social structure is. And according to Giddens et al., 2016, social structure is defined as the underlying regularities or patterns in how people behave in their relationships with one another. Now, you can find this on page 5 of your textbook. Comparably, social structure is defined as the internal institutionalized relationships built up by persons living within a group, such as family or community, just like as I'd mentioned previously, especially with regard to the hierarchical organization of status. So we have this status, we all have this place in that structure, in a family, sort of, work, whatever, and to the rules and principles that regulate that behavior. So, in a family, sometimes I know in my family, I have a huge family, spread across the country. We have 6 kids, and sometimes I think, gosh almighty, we have more drama. So really that's, sometimes it's not drama, but it's sort of what happens in our social structure and how it takes place. Now my children, I have 4 daughters and 2 sons, so what happens is they sort of have their own set of rules and principles for each other. It doesn't matter what I say. They sort of have their own rules and principles for each other outside of what we taught them when we raised them, and that's sort of part of that, and they kind of have their own hierarchy, if you will, and I stay out of that, but occasionally I have to jump in and remind them that they're all siblings and that they, no one should be higher on the food chain than the other one. They certainly wasn't that way when we raised them. But that's what social structure is. And again, this is something that, we probably do often. We just don't think about it. And we're probably part of that, but we just don't think about social structure. So how does social structure work for you? Think about your family. Think about the things you do socially with your friends. And just think about this definition of social structure and how you fit into that hierarchy, how you deal with your family, how you deal with your friends, how it's structured. Okay, answer. Sociologists can answer a lot of different questions. Now, I would say that sociology can answer many questions. Not all. There's still some things you'll see in the textbook that sociology still, sociologists still sort of scratch their head on trying to get the answer. We don't have the answers to everything, but sociologists can answer many questions about society, especially using different types of research. We might gain more knowledge about social order, change, and further understand the different approaches to addressing some of the social problems that we have. What are some of the social problems that you can think of that should be addressed and possibly could be addressed by sociologists? We gain a better understanding of our daily lives, how we might improve those social issues in the future, and we can really and specifically improve public policy by really answering some of the questions that are out there, some of those social issues that currently exist in the United States as well as other countries. I would like for you to take a real good look at page 19 for more information on this topic, page 19 of your textbook. Lots of good information on how we can answer some of the questions in society. In the reading material, you might recognize some of the famous names, some names you may have heard of in high school, such as Karl Marx, Weber, and Du Bois. I encourage you to pay close attention to the theories that the sociologists have posited and how these theories have influenced politics and life throughout history. Now, I want you to, sort of create, look at that terminology, look at those theories, maybe take notes on that. You'll need them in the future on some of the tests that we have, and it really will help you with your discussions and written assignments. Okay, that's a quick overview of the discussion, some of our assignment this week. Again, I want your discussions to be, your initial post should be extended, detailed. Guys, don't give me a one-liner. Give me some information there. Share your thoughts. Really think about it. And if you're too busy to post right now, just wait. I would rather that you be late on an assignment and share a good quality post, good quality written paper than I would just throwing something together. So take that time. Just go, if you're too busy right now, come back, do it later on, and share that extended detailed post. Support your thoughts and with examples, with citations, references. Really take a look. We're going to have fun with this class. Again, it's a lot of information, but it's a fun class. There's a lot of good stuff out there in the material, and I hope you enjoy it. And let's make it fun. Let's don't make it hard. I don't want you to think about this class as, gosh, I've got to just, I've got to take it. I don't want to take sociology. Don't do that. I want you to have fun, enjoy the class while grasping the material, learning the APA and writing, and I'm going to try to do everything I can to help you do that. So that's our first week. I'm excited. I'll see you in the Getting Started forum. Share your introductions about yourself. Ask me the questions if you have any. And then let me know if there's anything I can do for you. I'm excited to meet with you. I'm telling you. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm passionate about working with students, and I'm excited to be with you. So here's to a great term. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the discussion.